What is going on with her? Once again, bros, women, bronies, and pegasisters. This is the one and only, of course, Mr. Nintendo 23 2011, aka Cruising that 2009. Of course, you guys can rest in your channel before we end up. Check out freenumber.com. And of course, trouble numbers 2.9. If you want official channel, banner, design, and picture specifically made just for you. I'll put links to all their social media networking accounts and search bars down below. And of course, as always, does check out their business partnership program, best partnership program ever had. Love to check them on Google as well. And without further ado, let's begin. So, finally, after over a week, once again, I'm sorry I had to do this on a Saturday afternoon. Well, it's better than Saturday night. But anyways, woo-wee. My Little Pony Friendship's Magic, Season 5, Episode 16. I thought it was 17, but fucking numbers on these episodes, sometimes they mix me up. I don't know why. Made in Manhattan. And obviously, once again, not only do we get not one, not two, but three rarity episodes. And I know some people are complaining and bullshitting about that, but my own personal opinion, since rarity is one of like the second best, one of my most favorite, one of the most beautiful, adorable ponies out of the whole main six, next to Pinkie Pie, I was extremely hyper for this, man. The hype train was real for me when I saw this, and it did not disappoint. I'm not gonna lie. So before I get into the whole synopsis and everything, I just want to let you guys know, as you see in the title above and below, this is a spoilers review segment, like I always do. Pretty much entitle a lot of these videos. So if you haven't seen the episode already, even though it's been almost 2 weeks since it's come out, you might as well just completely avoid this video and do not watch it at all. But if you like spoilers just as much as I do, and you haven't seen the episode, or maybe you did see the episode already, stick the fuck around. Thank you very much if you do in advance. And before I begin, I'm just going to say it out loud, completely blunt. Obviously, and if you saw the first picture that I showed you earlier, that had to be one of the most biggest highlights of this episode of all time, excuse me. But, shit, man. Fucking A, fucking I. That had to be one of those ginormous, biggest highlights, in my own personal opinion, of all time. Because, I mean, not to sound like a self-centered, prideful Hispanic or anything, but the second I heard that thing, oh man, I wish I would have did a reaction video to this. I still haven't. I still got to do at least a whole bunch more. I think it was 7, 8, or 9 is when I stopped doing reaction videos on Daily Motion, and it's been, what, 4 or 5 months. I'm just going to wait all the way till December, so that way I could do reaction videos to them later. But holy shit, man. My fucking god. This is hilarious as hell, man. They actually put, I don't know who it was, whatever script writer, whatever part of the staff of the producers, the directors, whoever it was that did it, I cannot thank them enough for doing it, because once again, I mean, it sounds extremely racial, kind of not racist or stereotypical. Well, it kind of falls in the lines between stereotypes and typicalness in this episode, which I know a lot of younger viewers, obviously their targeted demographic audience, which is mainly little girls or boys, watch this cartoon series. They probably don't understand this at all, this concept, but if you're a grown adult like myself, if you're watching it and you're seeing it through maybe a nostalgic sort of way, like how I did, because obviously I lived in New York City, so I kind of know how that lifestyle is. And once again, Manhattan, New York, of course, it's a play on Manhattan, New York. I didn't live in Manhattan, though. I lived in the Spanish Harlem, kind of mid-lower class ghetto areas. And let me tell you, life over there was living out there. I mean, New York City in general was cool living there, but the fucking, the ghetto part was really fucked up, man. If you live in the ghetto or in the hood, anywhere in New York, you know it's grimy shit out there, man. I mean, I'm not going to get into more deep specifics, but if you're a grown adult like I am, you know how extremely fucked up and how low the poverty level is there. It's ridiculous, man. That's one of the main reasons, at the time when I was living with my family, I moved out here to Las Vegas, because there was a lot more job opportunity at that time. Of course, in 2008, you know, when the whole collapse thing happened and everything. I'm not going to get into that segment here, because that's not what my channel's about over here. If you want to learn more about that type of things, material that I talk about with a lot of world issues and shit like that, current events, that's on my Criticism Guide 2009 channel. Check that out if you haven't already. Anyways, yeah, I'm not going to get into that type of thing. I don't talk about that type of material on my channel here. That's on my other channel, though. I have a shit ton of stuff to say there. I've said it for almost 5, 6, maybe 7 years, as long as I had that channel. Because here I've only had it for 4.5 years so far. But anyways, yeah. There was this one pony. would never forget it when he said it. Obviously the hat says it all because I am, a what do you call it, Puerto Rican dude, and I'm still half Mexican. Still haven't forgot about that part of me. But other than that, the kid said, "Oh, mommy, this play's going on right now. Can we stay, please? Can we?" And I shit you not. If any people, especially if you're Puerto Rican like myself, or maybe full Puerto Rican, I'm just talking to you guys right now. I'm sorry, black, white, and Asians, you're going to have to get left out in the corner a little bit, but I'm just talking to my Hispanics right now. Especially if you were born and raised in New York City like I was. You know your mother or your grandmother or your aunt had this type of accent whenever you saw it. I mean, it wasn't stereotypical. Some of them, not all of them, kind of had that accent. I'm not going to lie. Some of my cousins and older aunties had this accent. Or tias, that's what you say in Spanish, or titis. She ended up saying, "Oh, I guess, I don't see what that point is. I guess we could stay here a little while." I was like, what the hell? Like, bro, that shit hit me so deep. That hit so close to home when I heard that shit, dude. Seriously. It just made me had so many nostalgic flashbacks to the past when I lived in New York City. And my God, man, that shit like struck a chord with me so damn well. So, bravo to the director producer that put that Boricua like New Yorican chick in there. I mean, I didn't say specifically. Her cutie mark wasn't obviously a flag, obviously, but I think it was like a sewing needle or something. I don't know. And it was so funny. It's like, I guess we could stay here a little while. Oh my God. That was like, it sounded like Cuban or Puerto Rican. I can't tell which one it was, but it had to be Puerto Rican. Like, obviously, that's one of the biggest ethnicities, races in New York City besides African American, Caucasian, Asian. I mean, there's a whole melting pot over there. I used to be chill a lot of ethnicities out there, obviously. So I moved here to Vegas. I mean, it was still kind of the same, but not on the same level. Because Vegas is actually a lot more tinier over here than it is over there in New York City. Trust me, I've seen it. I've seen the strip a couple times. It's nothing really big after a while if you've been here for over 14, going on 15 years, like I have. But yeah, it's not big of a deal after a while. Same with people that probably live in Los Angeles or Chicago or Miami or any of those big giant metropolis cities, It's not really nothing big after the first few weeks or months you've lived here. If you're in a little small little backwater town somewhere where you don't know where anything's, well, actually no, you know where everything is, but it's super tiny. Maybe it's like maybe 2,000 people. It's not big. But if you're living somewhere that's over like 10, 15 million people, it's gonna be crowded as fuck. I'm not gonna lie, it really is. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on to this thing. I just had to, I had to point that statement out immediately. Anyways, I'm gonna read the summary and the prologue of all this. So if you people want to read the MLP wiki of this episode, links to the description box down below. And yes, I did just finish watching the episode a couple hours ago of season 5, episode 17, The Brother Who Social. That was funny as heck. I like that, man. And it's cool that it was revolving around Apple Bloom and Big Matt. I'm not gonna spoil that episode. That's for a completely separate video. Let's fucking get to it. If my fucking goddamn fingers can snap. Here we go. So summary, the prologue, and hopefully I don't have to do a two-part on this. I might have to, so just fair warning, people. So prologue, this episode begins at the episode begins at Twilight Sparkle's castle. Twilight reads a book in an effort to stave off boredom, but she has already read many of the books in her library. Rarity and Applejack suddenly arrive, having been summoned by the cutie map through their cutie marks. Twilight is pleased to finally have something to do, but unfortunately her cutie mark is not shimmering like Rarity's and Applejack's. Rarity is excited when a map appears to call her and Applejack to a particular neighborhood in Manhattan. Applejack, however, is confused about why the map would summon her there. A simple country ponies to such a large city, but Twilight is certain that the map has chosen her for a reason. Despite having missed the upcoming Sisterhood Social, Applejack and Rarity set out. And spoilers just for the other episode, that actually ties in with the other episode because Applejack and Rarity had to leave and they had to miss the Sisterhood Social. That's why I think they called it the Brotherhood Social. If you haven't seen that episode, I'm not going to spoil that one for you because that one I'm probably going to do Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday as soon as there's enough pictures for me to show you guys what the episode's all about. So yeah, here we go. Back in Manhattan. Yeah, it does tie in with both of them. It's weird. Just for a little bit though. Upon arriving in Manhattan, Applejack is surprised by the city's fast pace, hustle and bustle. Following a brief encounter with a hat sales pony, Applejack and Rarity wander to a neighborhood in search of friendship problems they've been summoned to solve. But with little luck, just then, Rarity finds a flyer promoting the restoration of the Midsummer Theater Revival, the traditional Manhattan outdoor stage show. Much to Rarity's surprise, the organizer of the event is Coco Pamel, or Pamel, however you want to say it. Applejack and Rarity go to Coco's apartment to meet her, and she's explaining that the Misdemeanor Theater Revival was a community-driven play created by Bridal Way costume designer Charity Kindheart. After Charity moved away to her old neighborhood, lost its sense of community. Coco has attempted to take over for Charity, but her busy workload and the lack of volunteers has made things difficult. Rarity and Applejack eagerly are offering to help her and Coco Pamel to the theater project. And I totally forgot to adjust my thing. You know what I'm just going to do right now? I usually don't do this, but I'm really tired of being super dark out here, and hopefully you guys can see me. Just give me like less than 10 seconds. Hopefully that works. Okay. Hopefully that was good enough. So, hopefully the light's not too bright to your guys' face. Well, I'm hoping that was like under 10 seconds. In the words of Rainbow Joss, 10 seconds flat. Even though I don't like her that much, but whatever. Helping Coco Pamel. The next day, Applejack and Rarity try to recruit volunteers to help the theater restoration, but the ponies they talk to are less than eager to assist. To make matters worse, Coco is expected to have a well-known theater troupe to arrive to the next day for a costume rehearsal. Being the only two called to the cutie mat, Applejack and Rarity assure that Coco that they'll have everything prepared in time. However, their confidence wavers when they see the neglected state of the park where their play will be held. While Rarity and Coco with their play costumes, Applejack applies for her farm, learns skills to fix the park. After a whole afternoon of field work, she only manages to restore the park in a mediocre condition. The theater troopers arrive for their dressing rehearsal, but as soon as one of their performers step onto the rickety stage, the stage collapses. The method mares. With a barely tidy park and a destroyed stage, Coco feels like she's failed to live up to Charity Kindheart's example and loses hope. Rarity and Applejack begin to question why the map has sent them to Manhattan instead of Twilight. Before they go into the overwhelming task, Applejack suggests merely focus on what they can do. She proposes, there we go, putting on a smaller play for a smaller audience, and Coco half-heartedly agrees. Sorry guys, my throat was bothering me like a bitch. I had to do it. Applejack assembles a little bit of a stage in a neighborhood square, and the theater troupe puts on a play dedicated to Charity Kindheart. As the play goes on, it attracts attention to numerous passerbyers, and they slowly come to remember the sense of community that Charity was famous for fostering. The play is a huge success among the neighborhood ponies, and the audience commends Coco Pamel for the organization at the event. As a result of the play, the neighborhood's sense of community and togetherness is fully restored. Sometimes, some of the ponies who refused to help Applejack and Rarity before are now eagerly to help restore the park. Applejack and Rarity's cutie mark start to shimmer, indicating that their friendship missions is completed. Rarity now realizes that the cutie map chose Applejack, even though a small contribution can make a big difference. And then I guess the pictures, I could read those. A community brought together again, all that good stuff. Okay, Rarity and Applejack turn for a cutie map adventure. Reunion with Coco Pamel. A sizable restoration project. The show goes on, and then the community brought together again. Okay, so overall thoughts, views, and opinions on this episode. I really feel like this episode was like really, really awesome. Once again, it had to do with one of my old school hometown cities, which is New York City. Well, not the whole freaking city. There's thousands of small little district areas where people live at. And let me tell you, it was not easy living over there. I mean, besides living in the projects of Spanish Harlem, I'm not going to lie, it was crazy fucking shit I saw, which I'm not going to get into that because yes, I know I saw things that, I mean, that should be traumatizing me, but it was the everyday average normal thing. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm not gonna get into that because it's kind of a private, personal matter that I had to deal with in my life. But I will say this: if you grew up in the suburbs all your life, you are one lucky motherfucker because the shit that I saw, it should have traumatized me, or I should be dead, or I should be in prison right now. And a few of the stupid ass things that I fucking did. Luckily, one of my families was like a lawyer or district attorney, so thank goodness. I think it was like one of my uncles or aunts. They always got me out of trouble whenever I did something stupid, because they had the better life than I did. I'm not gonna get into that because it's gonna bring me a little bit emotional, so I don't want you guys to see that part of me. I mean, you probably seen it once when I did that Satoru Iwata video, but that's after I got over the grief of him dying. That's different. Anyways, yeah, obviously it was from my hometown. I mean, there's a lot of different areas. Every place in the world is always gonna have a super ghetto ass place where you're born and raised, or a nice little suburban area where you're raised. And in a way, I'm kind of glad I was grown out in the ghetto, man. I wasn't super super ghetto, but it was still dangerous as fuck enough where I couldn't even go out 4 or 5 in the afternoon because people would get fucking killed in broad daylight when I saw it, man. Real crazy shit. And that's not just black people that get into that type of stuff. So some Puerto Ricans, they experience a lot of that shit too. And unfortunately, I was one of them. But luckily, I never got destroyed or fucking killed from it. Thank God. I mean, in the 90s, it was still, actually, it was one of the most dangerous decades to actually live in New York at that time. But I'm not going to get into that, as I actually learned that from a Home Alone movie, the second one, Lost in New York. I know that sounds crazy, but hey, trivia is sometimes reality, man. It's fact. Anyways, as I was saying before, luckily, I still was able to go to high school and college. And then, of course, I got my 2 years degree of associates for computer engineering, all that shit, thank God. Unfortunately, I never did get to do anything with that, so I just ended up having a hotel job. And if I had to have it, for the rest of my life, hey, it's all good. It still puts food on the table, thank God. But other than that, I'm not going to get into all those other small little nooks and crannies of my life because you probably don't give a shit about my life off of YouTube. So, hey, it is what it is. It's fair use. It's all good. Yeah, this episode was pretty, uplifting. And it wasn't that emotional like it was before. That Coco Pomel chick, she still looks like Fluttershy to me. I do not know why. I think it's the eye textural design. She has those little sad drop eyes like Fluttershy has. The only difference is she's an earth pony instead of a other pony. I forgot what it was. Fuck. But it is what it is, people. Applejack, she was just going to town, man. I felt so bad for her when she had to clean up that thing. And actually, I had sincerity. I had sympathy for the chick because I usually don't care about AJ that much, but this episode actually made me care about her a little bit, and I felt really bad for her that she had to go through all those trials and errors of having to clean up the park and everything. It was just, it was a bomb in her face, man. Especially when she drove over her hat. Dang, man. I was like, she really busted her flank or her ass to try to fix up the park. I don't know if it was Central Park or another different park. Because when I was in New York City, shit, I used to see 1,000 different parks out there, man. It wasn't just Central Park. That's just one of the main areas. There was a lot of other ones too. I don't really remember because I was 7, 8, 9 years old when I was still there. So it's hard for me to recount. I'm probably going to have to go on Wikipedia and find out which parks are still over there. I don't know because 15 years changes a lot of things. That's how long I've been out here in Vegas. But anyways, you can't even imagine the whole transition I had to do from nothing but buildings and skyscrapers to pretty much desert and mountains all over the place. Because that wasn't anywhere in New York where I was at. I mean, granted, there's a few mountains, but not very many. There were plateau hills with a lot of grass, and over here it's pretty much if you're almost living on Mars. Almost. It was kind of a weird transition I had to go through, but I got used to it after a while. So it's like I went from a city rat to a desert rat now. It's crazy, man. Plus, there's a lot more water you got to drink out here in the summertime, and it's getting cooler out here now, thank goodness. But, woo. But other than that, holy shit, people. It was a really good episode. There's that one little scene where that dude says, "You made me lose my customers. Now you get it." He said the plan was averted. "You just cost me a customer." And Ray says, "Oh, I'm sorry, kind sir. I did not mean to do that to you. I am sir. It's simply the mind. You have such a nice business establishment here." That type of thing. Because Ray already kind of has that British accent thing. Speaking of living in New York City, it's like when you live over there, you see so many other different races and ethnicities. And racism is barely even around there. I mean, the only racism that's ever around is when, like, black dude gets arrested by police, and that's different. But that's kind of, unfortunately, that's typical, sadly. But but other than that, there's real chill, cool, and laid back and relaxed half the time. Even though a lot of people say, oh, some of these New Yorkers, oh, they're so uptight and they're pissed the fuck off all the time. They need to like chill and relax. And no, I was a New Yorker and I wasn't like that. I mean, yes, I had a really fucking nasty attitude at that time, especially as a '90s kid. Holy shit, man. And even a 2000s kid too. Like, I don't know. There's just something about East Coasters you gotta like be careful with, because some of them they take a lot of shit to heart and they might lash out the fuck out at you. Man, they really will. I used to lash out at motherfuckers all the time. That's why I got into so many fights when I was in school. I did not let nobody fuck around with me. I broke a few people's bones too. Don't lie. Don't let this like nice little happy face fool you. I used to beat the shit out of motherfuckers back then. But anyways, had to do it in self-defense though, because teachers didn't give a shit. The principal didn't give a shit. Any of those cocksuckers didn't give a fucking shit. So I had to defend myself. That's how unfortunate it was. But other than that, now let's get back to the episode. Yeah. Some of us, yes, we're hot-headed, but that's how we have to survive. Especially you live there, New Jersey, some parts maybe Boston, Massachusetts. And then some of the people there, they're a little bit nicer because there's not everyone from around the world that's going over there unless they're doing something like the Pokemon World Tournament. Because I know there was a big one about 2-3 months ago that they did with that, and I think it was in Boston when they were doing it. And it was pretty big ass news. I already covered that like news story too. I'm not gonna get into it because it's pretty much relevant by now. Hopefully next year that doesn't happen either. If you know what I'm talking about, you know how crazy that situation was. But anyways, thank God nobody didn't lose their life that day either. That would have sucked. That just happened like 2-3 days ago, which I might do a rant video on my criticism guy channel for that. So stay in tune for that if you're subbed to my channel over there. What else did I like about it? I like the Charlie Brown reference. Let's talk about the references in this one. I think Grumpy Cat was in there. There was another dude that, instead of having Beats by Dre, I think it said Ponies by Dre. That was funny as hell. I like that little reference. That was really, really good. Yeah, the Charlie Brown one, I laughed my ass off when I saw that. I was like, because if any people don't know me, I actually do like the Snoopy series, which I think it was like the 1960s, 70s, or 80s, so I know it was before I was born. But even as a '90s kid, I actually grew up watching that because I used to watch all the Easter specials, the Christmas specials, the Halloween one, the Great Pumpkin Patch with Linus. So I was really big on Snoopy. I'm not gonna lie, he was cool as fuck. I liked Woodstock the best. He was awesome. And Lucy, she was kind of a little bit of a bitch, but she took shit for nobody. That's why I fell in love with that character. She was just a badass chick. She was amazing. But anyways, enough of the Snoopy stuff. Yeah, another highlight I liked here. I don't know if that one pony that was this tall, skinny pony that had the top hat, is he supposed to be like a Gangs of New York reference? If any people haven't seen that movie, it's based on that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio where he's like a gang member of New York. I think it was the 1870s, 80s, or 90s. Of course, this was way before I even came into existence. This was about, let's say, about 120, 130 years before I was born. So it was a long ass time before I was born. So yeah, this is when New York was just barely starting out the first, I don't know, 100 to 110 years, I think. So it was still really young at that time. But other than that, holy crap. Yeah, that was a cool pony. I like this design. I don't know if that was a reference between the old school version of New York City. That's why he was like a winery salesman. I don't know. I think they said apple cider salesman because, apple cider is pretty much the alcohol of the pony equestrian universe, I guess. I mean, the one other scene I really, really liked, the one part where Coco Pamel, she didn't understand when Applejack says, "You bet your boots will help you out." And I'm like, and then she says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't wear boots. It makes my hooves itchy." And then Applejack's like, "It's just a figure space, sugar." And it's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then she like blushes. That was one of the cutest, adorablest parts I loved in that fucking scene. It's amazing, man. I like the background that they did in this part too. Especially in that one part of Rarity, I'm not sure if that was a reference or not for like Marilyn Monroe or whatever, but I think she said, "Oh, Manhattan, what you do to me." And I feel so bad for AJ because she's a small town country pony going to a big ass city, which I actually seen people like that, not at my school, but whenever I went to the mall, because it was one big ass giant mall. It was kind of like how Nintendo World was. Unfortunately, I never got to go there. And I lived there for so long because that was actually a lot of rich, spoiled kids that normally got to go there. I wasn't a rich kid, obviously, since I lived in the projects. And I was like, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 miles away from where I lived at that time when I was in Spanish Harlem. And holy shit, it was crazy as fuck. That's a topic for another day. But yeah, you know, it's like when she was going around, I used to see a few people like that they were really shy, they were really introverted. I mean, I was an introvert too, I'm not gonna lie, but I used to act tough and a badass because, you know, deep down I was really a real shy kid. I just pretended not to be shy. And especially when I came here to Vegas, I got really, really shy because I didn't know anyone from anywhere. I didn't have my cousins with me anymore. Everyone was almost 50, 80, 90,000 miles away on the other side of the country. So imagine putting yourself in my shoes. And I mean, if any people maybe moved from New York City all the way to California, or all the way to Oregon or Seattle somewhere, halfway across country, or around the world, I cannot even begin to think how hard that transition must be. Especially when you're a child or a teen and you leave all your family members behind. Well, I still have my immediate family, but I'm talking about my cousins, my uncles, my aunts, my grandparents. You know, I left a lot of them over there, and it sucked. It sucked a shit ton of ass. I'm not gonna lie. So it took, I'm not gonna say 2-3 years to get used to this place. It took about maybe, I think, a month or two. Once it was about August, September, I started, you know, feeling a little bit more comfortable around people, even though I had to deal with asshole cocksucking pieces of shit, which I wish at that time, and thank God I never did it. I wish I would have shot them and blow their fucking heads off because I really, really hated them that much with a passion. The only thing that held me back is that, number one, I obviously was going to prison for the rest of my life, so I never did it. And any police officer there thinking, oh, this guy's a threat. He's going to shoot people. We need to arrest him right now, especially in the Las Vegas area. If any people don't live out here, if you don't know what Metro Police is, this is the one that pretty much controls Vegas. I'm not doing that. I'm not a domestic threat. Let's just get that out the way right now. I would never even imagine or think about doing that now. I'm more of a stabilized, calm, cool, collected person. I'm not bipolar. I'm not crazy. So if any police officers are watching this video right now, I'm not in no shape, way, or form. I'm not saying I'm not going to do that. Let's just make that clear because I've seen a lot. I don't know why this year especially. There's been a lot of YouTubers that have been getting arrested for stupid ass things they've been doing. You know, they were showing their guns and they said they were gonna like kill police officers. That's crazy. It's not good. But that's pretty much all I had to say. Really good video, 10 out of 10. Episode was nice. Links in the description box down below to the reaction, maybe if I ever do it again, along with the MLP Wiki files, and of course the episode itself, any annotation too. Peace out once again, bros, women, bros, and pegasisters. We'll see when I see you guys. A good day, have a good night, wherever you are at around the world. Don't drink smoke at the same time. Just like the reckless, keep it calm, keep it cool, keep it chill, keep it elective out there. And until then, that's it, guys. Peace out, ladies and bye. Stay tuned, more videos coming soon. Brand new videos on the channel almost every single day. You guys keep it calm, keep it cool, keep it chill, keep it elective out there. Stay on the grind, stay easy, stay safe, stay healthy, be easy, be you, do you yourself. That's a mouthful. And until then, peace out. I'm not like sauerkraut. I'm getting the heck out of here. Stay tuned for more future content on this channel, and as always, stay tuned for more updates. See you guys next time. Real great episode. One other thing I forgot to mention. That thing when it flies in Rarity's face. Class act. Peace and goodbye.